Shout out to Ricky Ricardo for sending me this article right here about this docu-series that is currently on HBO called The Vow, a NXIVM story. NXIVM. That's something I have talked about on my channel plenty of times, especially over the last year. But in case y'all are new to this, I'll break it down for you in less than a minute. NXIVM is basically a group that was basically a sex cult that was ran by this man by the name of Keith Raniere, and Allison Mack was one of his people. Allison Mack, in case y'all didn't know, she used to play on that show Smallville back in the day, and since her career went downhill, that's what she decided to do with many other people, and they created this group called NXIVM that was supposed to be masked as a self-help group, I guess, for women, but it turned out to be nothing more than a sex cult where they basically had them whoring themselves out. They were being branded and a bunch of other things. And that's just a small summary because it goes way deeper than that. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for Harvey, I don't think we would know about this. But apparently on HBO, they have this docuseries that absolutely nobody really knew about. But everybody knew about Surviving R. Kelly. I wonder why. Let's get into it. Oscar nominees Jahane Nojaim, I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong, and Kareem Amir direct an HBO docuseries about the notorious Hollywood-adjacent NXIVM cult. When the exposés of NXIVM, a self-help group and pyramid scheme founded in 1998 that also served as a recruitment pool for a sex cult that branded its quote-unquote slaves, went nationwide in 2017 and 2018, the stories were shocking even in the midst of the Me Too movement. But they were also confusing. Headlines seized on the branding, literally the branding, and the involvement of Smallville actress Allison Mack, who had effectively retired shortly after the series wrapped and moved to Albany, New York, where NXIVM was headquartered. The alleged details about life in the group, starvation diets, lifetime pledges of service, and nude photos as collateral were outrageous and probably for many outsiders bewildering. But why would anyone put up with such mistreatment? And why would they do so for so long? HBO's 9-part documentary, The Vow, seeks to answer precisely those questions. Directed by the Oscar-nominated husband and wife team, it is the highest-profile deep dive on NXIVM to date. Each of the first 6 episodes sent to critics focuses on a different defector, their experiences adding up to a character-based history and explanation of the billionaire-backed organization. The specifics of the group are both bone-chillingly familiar to critics of gender cult dynamics and wildly idiosyncratic to guru Keith Raniere, whose initials, along with Max, were branded in the pelvic region of possibly dozens of women. Defector Sarah Edmondson, the star of the excellent 2018 CBC podcast Uncover Escaping NXIVM, claims that she saw through the blindfold she was forced to wear in the car ride over that her branding took place at the Smallville co-star's home. First, a clarification. NXIVM was an umbrella group for several organizations dedicated to disparate missions. Executive Success Programs, or ESP, was a personal development course that seems to have been a gateway for many NXIVM members. About 15,000 individuals have taken ESP classes. Active NXIVM membership was between 700 and 800 people, of which less than a tenth were invited to join Dominus Obsequious Sororium, or DOS, a female-only group allegedly founded by Raniere and Mack, where the most egregious acts were to have taken place. An anonymous former member recalls having to ask her quote-unquote master for permission to eat virtually every bite of food. It's shocking all over again when we're reminded that all the enforcers of DOS, the brand of the ones pressuring underlings to submit nude photos as collateral and the ones claiming sex with Raniere was the key to enlightenment, are women. Now look at that. Now it's crazy that they wanted to put out there that R. Kelly was running some kind of a sex cult or sex ring, so to speak. But if you listen to what I just read, and let me tell y'all, to those of you who are new to this information, this is only the beginning. But they don't ever talk about them. They don't talk about Keith Raniere. They don't talk about Allison Mack. They don't talk about none of them. None of this. because they threw R. Kelly in your face. I highly doubt R. Kelly, if he ever engaged in what they accused him of, I doubt it ever went this far. But let's continue. An ongoing curiosity about NXIVM is how Raniere and his female deputies twisted the language of women's empowerment to mold recruits into sexual partners for him. His type seems to be young, blonde, thin, and grateful. One woman recalls that Raniere wooed her from the start, but wouldn't sleep with her until she lost weight. The vow is particularly compelling in outlining the various methods that NXIVM used to break down these women, which included the sinister strategy of framing brainwashing techniques like forcing a member to sleep only 2 hours a night as a test of female strength and will. The filmmakers appear to argue, as does Edmondson more explicitly, that understanding NXIVM means not only knowing about the behavior of its leader and top lieutenants, but also understanding the grooming process that systematically broke down the resistance of aspirants. Mack pled guilty to racketeering charges in 2019 and is awaiting sentencing. Now, look at that. That chick ain't been sentenced to nothing yet. Raniere faces life in prison for a slew of convictions that same year, including sex trafficking, child or exploitation, possession of child pornography, and forced labor. An early protagonist of The Vow is What the Bleep Do We Know? Director Mark Vicente, who helped to make Raniere's teachings more accessible through film. It's unclear how the duo got their hands on so many NXIVM videos, both professional and home video style footage of group of events, though some of the material is certainly supplied by Vicente. Affecting, the couple installed cameras all over their home and recorded every call with cult members. Raniere is known to retaliate aggressively against apostates with the help of two members of the politically connected Bronfmans, billionaire heirs to the Seagram fortune. The generous peppering of insider NXIVM videos throughout The Vow renders the dorky, soft-spoken Raniere, who appears not to have participated in the documentary, a thoroughly unimpressive figure while providing visual relief from the many talking head interviews. Overall, the production is handsome and well-structured, with new episodes unearthing new layers of viciousness and manipulation. Like Lifetime's Surviving R. Kelly, and they had to find a way to throw him in there, and Showtime's upcoming Love Fraud, The Vow also chronicles an attempted rescue mission. Here of India Oxenberg, the daughter of Dynasty actress Catherine Oxenberg. Edmondson and Vicente, racked with guilt for their tremendous past contributions to NXIVM, aid the elder Oxenberg however they can, but sadly it isn't much. The mother-daughter rupture testifies more powerfully than perhaps any other element in The Vow to uphill battle of convincing someone that their purpose in life, for which they've made unimaginable sacrifices, has been little more than a grimy lie. And it premiered on August 23rd at 10 p.m. on HBO. Now here it is, and I'm recording this on September 1st, 2020. So we're talking roughly over a week ago when this came on, and nobody knew about it. I didn't even know about it. And the thing is, it doesn't surprise me, because you know what? The intention was for you to not know. Now, the details that I just read for you briefly in this article, that's just that's just the surface level things. I've actually seen the pictures of the women that they branded like they were cattle, and they literally called them their slaves. And let me tell you, that was one of the most gruesome images I saw that year when I saw it. When Harvey had told us that he had saw those pictures, something just said, don't go looking for them, but curiosity got the best of me. And I went in search of them. And the thing is, I didn't really go look for them. They just kind of popped up in an article that I was reading. And that's when I saw them. It kind of, you know what, to give you an idea, if y'all remember the Saw movies, he would brand the victims with a iron that looked like a puzzle piece. So just imagine that they had a brand that had their initials on the iron, and they would burn it, and it's into the pelvic area. So you're talking, not only are they being burned with this iron, but they're being branded in a very near sensitive area. So that wickedness runs deep, but that's how these sex cults work. That's how they work. And good luck getting out of it if you are in. And I'm not talking about just if you are a person that got pulled in as a quote unquote slave, but also if you are quote unquote master or what they call lieutenant. Good luck getting out either way, because when it comes to stuff like that, usually there's only one way out unless you're extremely lucky.